All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. We got the Monday market report on your Sunday. This is for the week ending April 7th, 2024. This is the video that we all go to check out how the overall coin market is doing by way of the modern coin graded market. So anything that you see here is going to be from the year 1900 all the way up to the current date. And that's usually the date range that we cover when we go and take a look at these coins that have sold on the open market. Now, we generally look at greatcollections.com for all of the market data for the week, and we're going to continue on with that tradition. And as we head on into the second week of April, kind of crazy, we are in full spring action right now. The market is very active. There's coin shows all across the country. That's really beginning to perk up. That's the spring showers. Brings more than just May flowers. They're bringing in some really, really big coins, and we have a couple here today that we haven't seen in what feels like ages. Going from the Stone Ages into the medieval ages, that's a few centuries right there. More than a few centuries. And it feels just like that when we cover a few of these coins. We have some first timers on the list. My goodness. It's a great time to be alive in the hobby. There's a lot to look forward to out there. As, the prices continue to inch upwards. We're seeing a lot of strong, kind of follow through with this ridiculous boom in silver and gold. I think gold more so than silver. We're seeing kind of like the dominoes falling because of what's happening in precious metals today. So numismatics, they tend to run hand in hand. When one performs better, the other one tends to follow suit. It's all, the rising tides bring up all the ships. And we're seeing that here today. It's going to be a classic case of what the heck am I going to park money into? Because we're beginning to see more of the investor grade type stuff come out. Not necessarily registry set material that we used to cover in great detail. We used to cover probably on these Monday market reports, I would say in the last 8 to 12 months, about 75% of the market report has been traditionally registry set coins. Now we're beginning to see this balancing act, okay? The scales are beginning to tip the other way, and we're seeing a healthy kind of like 50-50 mix of not only registry set powerhouses, but also some of those staples in the modern coin market. Your 16D Mercury dimes. We have one yet again, another one that sold this week. Not particularly a gem, but it's one that a lot of people do need, and it's a highly investable coin. All right, so we're going to take a look at all these bangers here today. It's just the proverbial toilet has just been overflowing with all the goods, the good stuff. Yeah, you guys can leave a dislike and leave if you want. That was funny. All right, so let's go ahead and check things out here. First and foremost, I gotta give a shout out to Whatnot, man. They have been the platform of choice for me to express my selling power, and they have done just that. We've been around on this platform for over a year. It's been highly successful. I do only 2 shows a week, based off of what I could handle personally in my life. It's been fantastic, so thank you to all of my supporters that come by, if not to buy anything, just to hang out, we get to talk shop, talk about the market, talk about everything about this hobby. And that's what's great about it, is the community. So we're giving back in a huge way. We've celebrated 1 year on the platform. We have a big April buyer giveaway. For every one item, whether it's a coin, piece of currency, precious metals, whether it's a silver round or bar or something like that. So for every item that you order between now and the end of the month, we'll give you 1 entry into the big buyer giveaway. Okay, so big buyer giveaway, we have automatically a floor of 3 GSA Carson City Morgan dollars. I have them in hand, ready to give away. And that could only improve. So as we get more sales, as more people come out and participate, selling out on everything that I'm selling, we are doing full send. Nothing is being held back during this event. So we have folks already through the first week that have like 30 to 40 entries. It's amazing to see the participation for this event. So again, this is my way of giving back, and the gifts just keep on giving between now and the end of the month. So again, we have a Tuesday show and a Friday show. All right, and I have them bookmarked on my Whatnot account. Of course, if you've never signed on to the platform, you could do so using the link that I have below in the description box. It'll give you $15 in store credit, which, guess what, equals entries into the buyer giveaway. It's like free entries. You can buy 3 or 4 items with that $15 and it'll be completely free. You just have to pay shipping and handling. So come check things out. We are going to continue on again on Tuesday with 100 to 150 lots. It'll be a good opportunity to pick up a couple of inexpensive collector grade type stuff. And I look forward to continuing this event. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in to the coins. How about this one? Formative years, LP2, Lincoln on the Log, 2009. Now, honestly, this one is here because of its registry set implications. This is such a bomb when it comes to those Lincoln set collections. This one right here is a very clean PCGS Mid-State 68 red. You don't tend to see coins that present this well, even during the modern age. A lot of what we've seen, have been kind of like in that 65, 66 realm, which is perfectly fine, from, someone who's just an armchair collector. They like to fill albums. There's going to be a lot of those nicer coins out there, but when it comes to premier types, this is one right here, and there is nothing finer. So this one, I'm happy to say, that sold for $2,363.62 here tonight. What a great way to kick things off. Again, this is anything but typical. This is one of those coins that just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's one that we don't highlight that often because we don't see them pop out into the marketplace that often. The next one that we have here is one that we're all too familiar with, 1995 Lincoln Memorial set with the FS101 doubled die obverse. This one has very strong doubling on Liberty and the motto "In God We Trust." And this is kind of a rarity here. You see what I see? You got that right. A CAC green bean on an ultra modern like this. It's something that we don't traditionally see. There is a cutoff to what CAC green beans. I believe 95 is that date. So this one right here, not the highest grade. We've seen 69s of this coin. This one ended up selling for $1,125. Again, another fantastic inclusion into the Monday Market Report for the week. Coming up next here is an actual, just again, you've heard me say the term nuke. This thing has gone full nuclear. 1983 Lincoln Memorial saying, guess what? Looking at the reverse, this is the doubled die reverse. This is the big dog for the 80s. This is the one that everybody's looking for in any grade. This particular one just so happens to be a top pop Mid-State 68 red. All right, there's not a whole lot of them that are quite like this. This particular example, ladies and gentlemen, is highlighted by some of the strongest round-the-clock doubling on the reverse. Now, not even looking at close-ups of this coin, you could see just how crazy this one looks. So, as a result, because of its grade and what it is, this one ended up hammering tonight for $5,906.25. Coming up next is yet again another good one here, and one that a lot of people haven't really found, and that's the big reason why that the population is very scarce at the top. And this is the doubled die obverse 1972 Lincoln Memorial set. Now, keep in mind, this is not the big FS 101 or 104. There are actually 9 main FS attributed varieties for 1972 Philly. This is the last one, FS109. It doesn't have the strongest doubling, all right? Yeah, usually with any of the doubled dies for the date, you can look at like the motto, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," and you could kind of like guarantee yourself that that is indeed a doubled die. This one right here, a lot of your doubling is instead in the date, and it's, you know, really just quite minor, but it's an FS listed variety. Now this one here, ladies and gentlemen, is relevant to today because it's a Mid-State 67 red, and not only that, it is the sole single finest specimen of the FS109 that has ever made it to public auction, and we have that here in living color. This one sold for $3,262.50. Again, this is a first timer on the MMR sheet, and I'm glad to be able to chronicle and talk about this one today. Now, we're going to have to go back quite a bit further, 39 years it looks like, to 1933, and this is going to be our next coin on the list, and one that's actually quite scarce in these top-end grades. Now, we're looking at a Mid-State 67 plus red, Philadelphia 33. This is a much tougher coin than what appears, okay? We see quite a few of that marginal 64, 65 grades, not necessarily full red. You know, we do see red browns of this type. But this one, again, this is one that maybe pops up once or twice a year if you're lucky. And it's going to go into a registry set. This one right here is sold for $6,031.12. Again, it's another pristine example of this very tough date. 1926S, you know, you can make the argument between this and the next coin that these are kind of in like that semi-key conversation. These are coins that are quite scarce in some capacity at a certain kind of grade range. Now, 26S's you can find in just about any condition, okay, short of like maybe about uncirculated. You know, that's where things kind of get very expensive, all right? So if you're looking for like a VG fine or a VF grade of a 26S, you could easily do that and keep it under like $10. Now, when we get to mid-state, you know, condition, 1920s coins with a D or S mint mark are probably some of your most scarcest coins to encounter. And when you do, you kind of have to, you know, scratch your head a little bit and figure out why it's not in a graded holder yet. Because every dealer understands that, you know, whether it's a 26S, a 25S, a 24D, or, you know, 23S, or any of these 20s dates, these were workhorse coins. Nobody really saved these in the highest state of preservation. And that's the big reason why, guys, that these carry such a premium value in the marketplace. Like this one's a red brown, but it is a 65 and it's very well struck. We don't see those from 1920s Lincolns. So this one ended up selling for $6,377.62. I would be remiss to say that a full red example of this coin would probably be worth 2 to 3x what this one sold for today. And there is the 24D. I would say this is probably a top 5 rarity in the series. You know, and, you know, probably not top 5, maybe top 6 or 7. It's quite scarce. It has a very low mintage. And again, it's another coin that we don't see in full mint state red. However, we have one here today. This is one that I would say probably my first time ever covering in a full mint red condition. This one right here is a 65 plus full red by PCGS. And this one, you know, this makes sense. $24,187.50. When there aren't too many examples out there in mid-state condition, doesn't matter if it's brown, or full red, it's a very, very expensive coin. And you get the right amount of people in the same room, okay, they're going to vie for this coin's attention. This is the ultimate kind of like chase piece for not only an investor, but also registry sets will want this one as well. All right, so the very coin that you guys are here about today, okay, because we've had more, and not when I mean we, I meant myself and the live coin Q&A panel. We've had a lot of people that have messaged in, hey, I have one of these elusive 1964 SMS coins that everybody talks about, whether it's the nickel, the quarter, the $50 is a big one that everybody talks about. You know, we have to put into perspective that every single one of these coins has been accounted for in the marketplace. There were probably 11 or 12 sets or somewhere around there that ever made it into private collections' hands. And then it was all tracked from there. This is one of them right here. This one is a Mid-State 68 full stepper. They do grade these with full steps. This one is in a little bit older PCGS holder, probably from about 2002 to 2005. It is a special mid-set coin. It does say SMS on there. So if you think you have one of these, you got to keep in mind that every single loan example has been accounted for since they left the mint. These coins exist solely because the mint was converting at the time to a special mid-set type of finish. All right, they were kind of like done doing regular proof coins back in 1964. They actually spent some time in 1964 to do trial strikes, and that's what this coin is right here in preparation for the 65 to 67 era of SMS coins. So this one, by no real surprise, ended up selling for $41,231.25. That's just regular money for an SMS coin from 1964. The only ones that are worth more, I would say, is probably the $quarter and the Candy $half. The Candy $half is consistently over $100,000 at public auction, and we may see those once every 2 years. 57p. Now, this one right here is the beneficiary of some pretty decent looking toning. Okay, it's got quite a bit of green, which, as you guys may or may not know, is one of the more popular colors in the spectrum of toning. Now, toning isn't necessarily for everyone. You know, it's kind of a it's a select type of collectible. That really has to appeal to folks that enjoy the artistic nature of it and not so much the numismatic nature of it. So there is quite a bit of a premium held within these particular examples. But, you know, they're being scooped up by probably a completely different crowd than what you're used to. So this one right here is a Mid-State 66 Plus, full steps. Keep in mind, this is a tough date for full steps to begin with. And this one sold for $1,912.50. I know, pretty tough to, kind of follow up the 64 SMS, but, the Buffalo Nickels today are quite nice. Here's the 38 D over S. This is an overmint mark, a very well-known one, too. They go by the FS 511 and 512. There's two different D over S cherry picker's guide varieties for this date. And usually you'll find them all in really nice shape as well. This one is a Mid-State 67 Plus, which sounds like a big grade, and it is, even for this variety. So this one right here is sold for $1,631.25 tonight. It is not the highest grade I've seen of the D over S. I believe 68 Plus is the highest I've seen, and those routinely sell for over 5 figures. 24D, again, really tough date. This one has some nice original kind of like album toning. And generally luster is muted on these. So, that again, that's par for the course. This one right here is a Mid-State 65 Plus. Need I say more? The Buffalo Nickel community is very passionate. They got some of the deepest pockets in the whole world. And, they throw out tens of thousands of dollars to acquire some of the highest graded examples because it's such a popular series today. And this one right here is sold for $4,385.25. And we also have the 1918 in a 64 plus CAC green bean, but most importantly, this one is here because of that rainbow toning. That shows on both sides of the coins, but most importantly, the obverse is really what shows this palette really well. So this one, I'm happy to announce, it did sell for $1,244.25. Just a Mid-State 64 Plus, non-toned 1918 Philly. is about $125 to $150 coin. So there is a lot of extra stake here with that toning that produces a much higher level quality coin than what is initially seen. And another tough one here, boy, 75 and 76 Roosevelt dimes are virtually non-existent with full bands. They're a conditional rarity. The strikes are not the greatest in the mid 70s because a lot of the extra kind of work was involved with a bicentennial, release. So when it came to quality strikes on any of the other coins, we just don't see them as often. And that's the big reason why that, even the 75 is the biggest one, is one of the scarcest coins to find with a full strike. All right. And the 76 is a close second, I would say. And then maybe a 69 is a close third from there. So this one right here in the 66 by PCGS with the full bands. This one sold for $743.75. Again, it's a figure that we don't see in Roosevelt dimes, especially the newer ones like this. A few Mercury dimes, quite nice. One of my favorite series. Here's a 35S in a 67 plus full bands. CAC certified as well. Huge collector premium on this one. And it sold for $2,210.62. We also have a 24D. This one is a 66 full split bands. And it's also CAC certified. And it's got a couple names on the label, as you can see. Dan Miller and Hallett. These are the previous two provenances that have owned this coin. Not familiar with any of them. I've heard Hallett before. Which apparently he was a distinguished dime collector going all the way up to 1945 Mercuries. So, it's good to have provenance. Does that necessarily add more premium? Depends on who it is. Like an Eliasberg or, one of those, prestigious names will generally add, anywhere from 20 to 50% on top of the value of the coin. So this one right here is no slouch. It's got the CAC green bean. It's a full bander, which is quite tough for the date. $2,975.62 was the final sale tonight on this one. And there's our 16D. And it's an AU55 with full bands. So it's about the lowest grade that you would expect to see and still have full bands in consideration. This is, of course, the key date. And, this coin in grades as low as AG, still worth a lot of money. Boy, I forgot how expensive these were, even in AG. You're going to be spending close to $1,000 for a coin that doesn't look a whole lot like anything. So you can imagine an AU55 is well above, what we call like an upgrade. This one, $13,500, and whoever did buy it understands that this is a great deal on this coin because it's going to continue to go up. It's a very scarce, low minted type, and only one of the more popular series again in U.S. numismatics. 1977 Washington quarter. Again, not one we see on here like the Roosevelt dime we covered a few moments ago. This one here is just pure registry set bliss. Mint State 67 Plus is a grade on this one. And it's sold for $1,186.88. That is the top pop, but we're also seeing more of these late 70s Mint State 67 Pluses enter the marketplace. Which is having a negative effect on the value, okay? And I'm fine with that. The more that's accessible out there, the more opportunity for someone to put together a nice short set for a registry. And here is, this one's actually kind of cool. 1943 Washington. One of the big varieties, I believe this is the FS101. All right, it's a big double to die obverse, and this one is in an old annex soapbox holder. Goodness, toning is hit or miss. You can either love it or hate it. It's an AU58, so it's got a little bit of wear on the highest points of the devices. This one, ladies and gentlemen, $3,780. The only other double die I would say that's more expensive than this one would have to be the 43S FS101. So this one quite important to a lot of variety collectors. And we covered one of these last week. Okay, we went from the light side, and then now we're going to the dark side. This one has quite a heavy, thick patina that turns off most collectors. Okay, most people do not like this kind of heavy, dark terminal toning that you see here on this one. Now, albeit it is an XF40, okay, which is kind of like a middle of the road circulated grade. But when it comes to one of the marquee varieties, the 18/7S, you kind of have to take what you could get, especially when you have all of the numbers in the date highly visible to where you could see that 8/7. Wow, that's kind of a big deal. So this one right here is a great pickup for someone looking for an above average circulated coin with that 8/7 that's highly visible. $6,075 was the sale price on this one. I would say, yeah, that's probably a pretty good deal. And the final coin is, rest assured, toned clad candy half dollars pop up very rarely. Okay, nickel, first of all, doesn't really tone all that great. We see it on Jefferson nickels to a lesser extent. You pop them out of a Dansko album from like 40 years ago, and they can have some greens and golds and things like that. But on a much bigger coin from the 80s, out of all times, this one right here is it's more of an anomaly than something that we see regularly. Mid-State 67 Plus. This one, however, has a cross certification with QA. It's got a gold sticker. So they do a regular silver sticker or a QA gold, which means that it is far above and beyond what the posted grade is on the PCGS holder. I would say that the eye appeal, the toning, played kind of like a big role in, kind of favoring this one with a QA gold. But you're never going to believe the sale on this one. $4,162.50. Might I remind you, this is an 85p candy half dollar with just a stratospheric mintage number. The Mint, the Philadelphia Mint cranked out a bunch of these, and they ended up for the most part in old 50-cent slot machines. So a lot of them were beat up. Nobody really cared about these, and to this day nobody really cares about them. But when they look like this and they're this higher grade, that kind of paints a different picture to the hobby and to the numismatic news kind of outlook on it. But that's why I want to talk about. The Monday Market Report this week was especially gross, with all sorts of weird shit in there. It's very unlikely that you're going to see kind of like this eclectic mix of coins that we had this week. It was cool, don't get me wrong. I would love to see more of things like this, but this is kind of like anything but typical. But we also have to look at the time of the year. The hobby is so healthy right now with all sorts of shows, and they're always well attended. You have a good fair amount of younger people that's coming out in the hobby, and they're all going to these shows. They're showing off their $10,000 acquisition on TikTok, out of all things. And, they're getting all the views. So we're living in different times, and it kind of calls for that. The hobby is appreciated in different ways, and I just love to see that. The information provided today is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please do collect and grade responsibly, as always. And that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys again for watching and tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to today's video. And again, please do come check me out over on Whatnot. This April buyer giveaway is extreme, and I love it. And I want to do more of it this year. And this is going to be a little bit of a litmus test to see if this is something that we can sustain and keep it fun. All right, we got to keep it fun for everyone because this is a fun hobby. It should not be treated as anything else other than that. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I am out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Enjoy your week. Have a great Monday, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.